Silly, soft stuff, puffed Thomas. I didn't need that stupid old thing yesterday, and I shan't today. Snow can't stop me. He rushed into a tunnel thinking how clever he was, but there was trouble ahead. Cinders and ashes, said Thomas. I'm stuck. And he was. Back, Thomas, back, said his driver. Thomas tried, but his wheels spun and he couldn't move. The conductor went back for help, while everyone else tried to dig the snow away. But as fast as they dug, more snow slipped down until Thomas was nearly buried. Oh, my wheels and coupling rods! I shall have to stop here till I'm frozen. What a silly engine I am! And Thomas began to cry. At last, a bus came to rescue the passengers. And then, who should come to Thomas's rescue but Terence? Snow never worries him. He pulled the empty coaches away, then came back for Thomas. Thomas's wheels were clear, but still spun when he tried to move. Terence tugged and slipped and tugged, and at last dragged Thomas clear of the snow, ready for the journey home. Oh, thank you, Terence. Your caterpillars are splendid, said Thomas. I hope you'll be sensible now, Thomas, said his driver. I'll try, said Thomas, and he puffed slowly away. If someday you should see Thomas the Tank Engine puffing happily along the line, he may be on his way to a village nestled deep in the heart of the Island of Sodor. One November morning, Thomas whistled to all his friends. It's nearly Thanksgiving, and I'll bring you lots of letters and parcels. But then an early snowstorm came. The island was covered with thick snow. The engines found work difficult. Some had to help clear snow from the track, and workmen hacked away at the frozen banks of ice. Thomas and Percy were collecting important mail for Thanksgiving. Driver says there's lots of mail for the village, said Thomas. I'll need an extra car for it all. Percy was feeling left out. It's not fair. You're not leaving any mail for me. But Percy's chance had come. There's been a change of plan, said Thomas's driver. Sir Topham Hatt needs us at the big station. Percy, you are to take Thomas's train to the village. Percy was delighted, but Thomas was sad. I won't be able to say Happy Thanksgiving to all my friends. Don't worry, said Percy kindly. I'll do it for you. It's not the same, sighed Thomas. Percy was making good time on his way to the village when suddenly, "What's that?" called his driver. There ahead was a fogman by the line. He was holding a red light. "The village is cut off by the snow," he shouted. "We need snowplows, workmen, and a helicopter. Leave your cars in the sidings and go back quickly." Percy was soon steaming to Harold's airfield. "Beep, beep," whistled Percy. "Wake up, lazy wings. The mountain villagers need your help. They're stranded." Whiz-oh, replied Harold. I like an emergency to keep me warm. And he buzzed away. Now, sighed Percy, what's next? Suddenly, there was Thomas with Terence the tractor and a works train. Come on, Percy, whistled Thomas. Follow me. The two engines battled their way through the snow. At last, they reached the village. Harold was already there, busily dropping food for Thanksgiving dinner to the people below. Terence quickly got to work. Lovely stuff, he said as he pushed the snow aside. Well done, Percy! Well done, Thomas! Cheered the villagers. Percy, I've just remembered, your mail train is still back at the siding, isn't it? Percy hurried back to fetch it. Just then, Toby arrived with Henrietta. We've brought lots of hot drinks and food for the villagers, he whistled. That night, all the engines had gone back to the sheds except Toby. The villagers had made a plan to thank the engines. They loaded paint pots and parcels into Henrietta, and then they set off through the moonlit countryside. All the engines were fast asleep in the sheds as Toby ran silently into the yard. He had no idea what the villagers were going to do, but he knew it was going to be a big surprise. When the engines woke the next morning, they could not believe their eyes. The sheds had been repainted and decorated. The engines whistled in delight, and everyone agreed that it was a really happy Thanksgiving.
It was winter on the island of Sodor. Peter Sam puffed nervously along the line. His funnel had never been the same since his accident with some cars. Now the biting wind was trying to blow it away. My funnel feels wobbly, he complained. I wish manager would hurry up with my new one. He says it will be something special. You and your special funnel, laughed the other engines. They were fond of Peter Sam, but his special funnel had become quite a joke. The winter wind grew worse. The rain came too, turning hillside streams into torrents, which threatened to wash the line away. Rusty, the little diesel, worked hard carrying workmen up and down the line. They were removing branches and leaves so water could flow away. But one morning, Rusty's driver brought bad news. There's been a washout near the tunnel. The track bed has been swept away. We must repair the damage immediately. The important work took longer than expected. As days went by, the weather changed. It became frosty and much colder. The workmen finished at last. Peter Sam was most careful as he took the morning train over the mended piece of track. Soon he approached the tunnel. It was short and curved, so his driver could not see right through it. Peter Sam was heading for trouble. There's something hanging from the roof, shouted his driver. Peter Sam came out of the tunnel a different-looking engine. He no longer had his funnel. "Here's what hit you, Peter Sam," called the conductor, and he produced a thick, cold icicle. They set off again, but without his funnel, the journey was very difficult. Then his fireman saw an old drain pipe lying beside the track. "We'll use that instead of your funnel. At least it'll help control the smoke." Peter Sam finished his journey with the drain pipe wired to his boiler. The other engines laughed, and Sir Handel sang a song about it. "Peter Sam said again and again, his new funnel will put ours to shame. Went into the tunnel and lost his old funnel. Now his famous new funnel's a drain." The teasing continued until at last the day came when his new funnel arrived. Sir Topham Hatt proudly presented it. "Oh dear, someone squashed it," said Peter Sam, but Sir Topham Hatt laughed. "Don't worry, Peter Sam. This funnel is something special indeed. You'll soon see." Peter Sam's new funnel had special pipes which made puffing much easier. "I feel stronger than ever before," he hummed. Even Sir Handel was impressed. "I can't understand it. Peter Sam just seems to stroll along the line. He makes work look so easy." The engines don't laugh at Peter Sam's funnel now. They wish they had one like it.
It's winter holiday time on the Island of Sodor. It's very cold, but the engines don't mind. They love this time of year when the stations look jolly in their decorations. There is plenty of work with passengers and parcels to be delivered, no matter what the weather. "Driver says there's more snow on the way," said Edward. "We'll soon be wearing our snow plows," said James. "You'll enjoy that, won't you, Thomas?" teased Henry. "You know I won't," said Thomas. "I don't like my snow plow." Sure enough, that night the wind blew and the snow fell heavily. The next morning, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. He told the engines they were to have snow plows fitted. "And you are to collect a special from Callan Station. It's needed for the village feast on Toby's branch line." Thomas was excited about his special, but not about his snow plow. "Please, sir, my plow is awkward and uncomfortable. Do I have to wear it?" "Everyone has to wear a snow plow," said Sir Topham Hatt. The fitters, his driver, and firemen all helped with Thomas's snowplow. "We'll have to try that again," laughed his driver. "Big, horrid, awkward thing," Thomas grumbled. He was much happier when he arrived at Callan Station and saw his special. It was a beautiful Christmas tree. "The tree will have lights and stand in the middle of the village," said Edward. "Make sure you get it to Toby safely." "I will," said Thomas. Thomas arrived at Maithwaite, and Toby was very happy to see him. "The villagers will be delighted with this tree," Toby said. "I'm glad you have your snowplow. I can't clear the snowdrifts by myself."